Thanks so much for joining us. Here with me now is Heather and Chelsea from the Lloydminster Sexual Assault and Information Center. Thanks so much for coming in, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
And I know that you've been doing some revamping over the summer and you're introducing some new programs here. Why don't you tell me about some of the new stuff that's going on in the center?
Sure. We start with our groups programs. We've redone all of them, so we're now offering a girls empowerment group. We started at ES Laird last spring. It was a really good success. Now we're in 4 of the other schools around the area starting this fall. We're also offering anger management programs, survivor programs for adults and teens, and a teen life skills program that we'll be implementing at Leap Avery coming in October.
And why are these programs important in the community?
The girls empowerment program is just awesome. It's for young teen girls, and it works on their leadership skills. They were having a bunch of problems with mean girls, you know, like the cattiness, the backstabbing, which can be really hard at that age. And it just gives the girls like extra support and lets them know that they can handle the situations, and it gives them some tools to work with.
And now you, Heather, work on the sort of the front of lines in the center. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what's on there?
Well, another role that Chelsea and I both have as well is we're a crisis interventionist there. So any clients that come in for requesting services or walk-ins, which aren't as popular often, which is nice, but so we'll see clients on a one-on-one basis, introduce them to any of the programming that we can offer, help them through any sort of crisis they're going through. And this doesn't necessarily have to be strictly with sexual assault survivors as well, but with anger management, bullying, we do one-on-one self-esteem work, relationship work, grief and loss.
Body safety.
Body safety with little kids, just so that they're aware of what they need to do and what situations that can come up for them.
Now, a lot of people would sort of be maybe reluctant to come in and talk to you guys about that. What do you say to someone who's maybe like not sure if they want to come in or not?
I would say don't necessarily get scared by the name of our center, because we do offer such a broad range of services, and that's where people kind of get a little hesitant, as they think, oh, Lloyd Sexual Assault Center, but really that's where we offer the anger management, all those programs that I was saying. There's so much more to us than just being sexual assault counselors. So.
Now, it sounds like you're putting a lot of sort of your energy into education. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that the way to combat this? Totally, you think?
Well, that's one of the other things that we've revamped this summer too. Is our public education department, and the center's been doing it for years already, but we've changed all of the programming and modernized it more. So we can go into schools not only in this area, but we've gone onto reserves in Onion Lake and Moosomin, all on the Saskatchewan side. So we'll go into schools. We'll talk about body safety. We'll talk about healthy relationships, date rape and drugs. What am I missing? Internet safety is a big one. That was a new presentation we made this year. Self-esteem is one Chelsea worked on at the beginning of 2010, and that's a brand new one as well. So we have a total of 9 presentations that are made right now. By January, we're hoping to have 13.
Wow.
Because we are getting more interest not only for presenting to children, but helping parents become aware of how to talk to their kids about these things. So we're doing new presentations with that too.
How do people react when you come to do a presentation like this?
Around this area, it's been great. We've been really welcomed in all the schools. We always check beforehand, make sure all the topics we cover is okay with the schools. And I mean, the kids are great to work with. We both really enjoy going into the schools and presenting. They welcome us with open arms most of the time.
Yeah.
Do you ever get people who they don't want their kids to know about this kind of stuff? Like they think it'll sort of open doors to places they weren't aware of in the first place?
Yes.
Yeah. And how do you deal with that?
That's why when Chelsea said we get permission sort of thing, we have to ask whichever coordinator we're working with in whatever school, we have to say, you know, this subject can be brought up in whichever presentation. Do you want us to talk about it or not? Or what happens if a child starts asking questions about this? Because sometimes the topics we bring up can encourage disclosures from children. So we kind of establish what our boundaries are and what we can and can't elaborate on, and then we just go from there.
And some of this stuff is sort of, they're delicate topics. How do you make sure that it's age appropriate for whoever you're talking to?
We've done a lot of work to make sure, but I mean, I mean, the kids need to know the information, and I mean, you're not protecting people by not educating them. You have to provide them with the knowledge so that they can make informed decisions, so that they know the dangers that are out there. And just because we're talking about a subject doesn't mean that your kid's going to be more at risk. They're just going to have more knowledge, so when that situation comes up, they're going to know what to do. If you don't talk about it ever, they're going to get themselves into bad situations and not know how to get out of them, not know where to go for help.
Do you think having a center like this in the community lets people report more cases and less cases go unreported?
I think if people are aware of it, then yes. if they know what services are provided for them, if they know that we can help them through day one, that they need to start reporting it, we can go through the police station with them, we can go to the hospital with them, we can go through court with them.
Right.
If people are more aware that that help is there, that support is there, then I think more would be reported.
And how do you approach something like that? Like, if someone comes in and reports something to you guys, do you automatically report it to the RCMP? Like, how closely do you work together?
If they're underage, yes, we have to.
Okay.
If they're above 18, we don't have to. It's up to the person.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you always encourage it, or what's your take on that?
I mean, it's a personal decision, right? It's very, going through the court process can be very emotional, and at some people, they're adults who are reporting, child sexual assault, that it's been ages and it might cause more upheaval to report than not. But of course, we always encourage people to report because, by hiding the situation, it's not going to get any better.
Yeah.
So, but it's definitely a personal decision once you're over the age of 18.
Of course.
Yeah.
How are you guys funded?
Both governments from Alberta and Saskatchewan.
The City of Lloyd, City of Vermilion.
Yep.
Do you take in volunteers at all?
Region 5. That's another thing we wanted to talk about. We run a 24-hour crisis line, and right now we're down to 3 crisis workers, Chelsea, myself, and another worker at the center. And so we have to take the phone between the 3 of us all the time. Wow. So it can be a little tough for us to do. So we are looking for volunteers to be trained. It's a 3-day weekend training session that is put on at the center, and they become certified to be crisis phone people. What's the word I'm looking for? Crisis call. They'll take the crisis calls. Yeah, they'll take the crisis calls and stuff. And we're also looking for volunteers to help with public education as well. So if you're interested in being a part of educating the schools and the community and coming out, even just to be an observer, to be a support for Chelsea and I, to help us with prep work, we have a lot of stuff that needs to be done.
With our crisis line too, it's important to let people know that it's not you're sitting in like a dark office answering the phone. We forward calls to a cell phone so you can live your life out pretty well.
Right.
You just can't be in super loud places where you wouldn't be able to, duck away for privacy.
Yeah.
We also need volunteers for our groups programs and for our women's center that we're hoping to open. We have kind of a loft apartment that's attached to the center, and at the end of October we'd like to have it open to women to come and just have coffee, sit around. We're going to have internet access and local phone calls to be able to be made. So it's just going to give kind of an area for women to gather and kind of chat and give them a break from their daily lives.
Well, that's great. Thanks for coming in, ladies. I hope people come forward for you.
Thanks.
This has been our conversation with Heather and Chelsea with the Lloydminster Information and Sexual Assault Center. Coming up, the results to some interesting municipal races in our region, including incumbent Cold Lake Mayor Craig Copeland versus incumbent councillor Deborah Pelahosky. Who will be in charge for the next 3 years? The answer is next on Around the Region.